All right, live again. This is episode 9, if I'm correct. Am I right? No?
Believe so.
9? I got 8 wrote on here, but it's actually episode 9.
We get them mixed up every week.
Yeah, it's all right. But anyway, episode 9, we got a special guest today, which is Dexter Canipe Jr.,
Special.
winner of over, golly, how many races you won, 150?
No, we've won 110.
184 cylinder races?
3 of them.
So
That-
113.
Something I ain't done.
Well, anyway, I'm Dylan Wilson. This is my co-host, Landon Huffman. We've got Dexter Canipe Jr. with us today. And we're going to talk a little short track racing and some other good stuff. There's a lot of topics going on. We had a lot of racing this past weekend. I know I sat on my butt on the couch and watched the Cars Tour race, the Denny Hamlin race, and then the Richmond races. So there was a lot of stuff going on. And I'm looking forward to talking about all of it because a lot of good stuff happened too. So we usually do the races this week segment, but every track in the country is racing this week, so I didn't even get it out. The Cars Tour is not racing, not many series racing, but a lot of racing going on this week. I'm actually racing at Hickory.
K&N at Langley.
K&N's at Langley. I'm pretty sure pretty much every racetrack in North Carolina is racing. So I didn't want to just sit here and let it take forever. But anyway, I guess the first thing we wanted to start off with, just to get it out of the way, is a quick little Richmond recap. I didn't get to watch much of the race. I saw the end of it because I was busy watching the Cars Tour race. But I feel like you was probably tuning in a little bit here and there. But all I know is Kyle Busch won 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Any hot takes on that race?
The highlight of the race for me was Matt DiBenedetto finished 16th and
Yep.
on the lead lap, and he ran on the lead lap the whole race. So that was pretty badass. And trying to think of who else. There was 1 or 2 other cars that had pretty good runs that don't, that are less funded teams. But Kyle Busch pretty much dominated. So he started like 33rd. So that was typical Kyle. I really don't even remember why they started bad. Brad Keselowski started bad too.
That was Kyle's worst qualifying effort ever, I think.
Yeah.
Actual time, not getting sit in the rear. That was crazy.
Yeah, but it was, for the average race fan, it was probably a boring race. For us, it was, if you actually tuned in and watched it as a racer, it was actually pretty good racing. They ran side by side a lot, and when they got to lap traffic, it made it interesting. They had to, battle with each other, and the lap cars were actually pretty competitive once they got to them. So Daniel Hemrick made his first Cup start, so that was he struggled a little bit the first run, but then they were actually better at the end of the race. He just got caught a couple laps down, but typical KB show.
Yep. So I don't know, Dexter, do you watch all the Cup races or? Yeah.
No.
I can't blame you. I didn't expect a
I
different
go watch
answer.
paint dry.
Yeah, it's I saw somebody call it NASCAR the other day. So
Something really, it's about Cup racing, so I'll talk about it right now. I seen an article that said Kyle Busch maybe is changing face a little bit, and now he's on the verge of
I wanted to touch on that.
one of NASCAR's most popular drivers.
Yeah, this might be controversial, but he's kind of turning from. God, who's a good comparison? He's kind of turning from a Bodine into a Earnhardt style. I think at first he was winning a lot, but he was just a prick, and now he's winning a lot, but he's also he has his haters, and people aren't gonna like a guy that wins a lot. They never do, but some people won't. But he's starting to go in the stands, which was cool. I've never seen Kyle Busch do that. That was cool.
And he's been they post videos all the time.
Yeah,
him and Samantha, when they leave the racetrack, they always stop and find Kyle Busch fans with hats on, stuff like that, and literally stop their car, get out, go to them, and sign something or take a picture or something like that. So that's pretty cool. And you don't really see. I'm sure there's more drivers that do it, but for Kyle Busch to do it, it's pretty neat.
It's just weird because you don't expect it from Kyle because he's always been so.
He's also kind of transitioning into that more mature role as a driver now too, because there's a lot of younger guys in the sport now. So
Wait till he gets wrecked. Let's see if he picks it.
Not to mention, there was an Xfinity race as well this weekend, which was a good race. I did watch that one pretty much through and through. Got to watch Noah Gregson almost run down Christopher Bell, which was he did. He got closer than I thought he would. I was really thinking that Bell had him covered big time, but Noah really sailed her off in there a few times and made it stick. So that was pretty impressive to watch in his first start. So
I didn't expect Noah to run that good.
I didn't either.
With you.
But
Joe Gibbs stuff's really, really good right now. So Noah did a good job. I mean, he saved his stuff, and then at the end made a run at him. And I think Chris Bell's going to have a shot at winning every single week. So it'll be interesting to see how the Xfinity Series plays out. But I do think that not having Cup drivers in the field makes the race 1,000 times better. This week was good, and then last week was good. Plus, it gives somebody like Tommy Joe Martins even, or those second, third tier teams to run in the top 20. I mean, that's big for them. I mean, it was huge for BJ McLeod's whole bunch at Bristol because both cars finished in the top 20, and that was like a big thing for them. So I think not having the Cup drivers in the field allows for that, and it gives somebody like myself or these other young kids trying to get in the sport, it creates a reason for teams like JGR to have a developmental program because they have to fill those seats instead of just saying, oh well, we're going to put Eric Jones in it or something like that.
So here's a question that's never been answered to me. Did Christopher Bell come from money?
No, he didn't. Right now he's the only driver funded by Toyota. Everything else that you see is
they paid for it, but they put Toyota on the car.
To say this, or I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to. Bell's the only one that doesn't have any money of his own. The rest of them, if they are Toyota development driver, they have some type of supplemental money, and then Toyota helps them out with a portion.
Yeah, and I had a conversation with a friend that said that Christopher was also, he got a ride with Keith Coons, and that's for non-dirt people, that's a really top. That's about the best equipment you can get in a midget on dirt. And he's from Tulsa, right? I mean, he's from Oklahoma. So the Chili Bowl was in his backyard his whole life, and he was in the right environment to have a big fan base and have a supporter like Keith Coons or somebody putting him in a good car and putting him in good equipment so he could show how good of a driver he is. So I'm excited to watch him over the next few years, and I'm also excited to see whose seat he takes at JGR because if he don't get one soon, he's going to go somewhere else.
What a lot of people don't know about Chris is he was actually making a substantial amount of money for a living as a dirt driver before Toyota picked him up. He was running some World Outlaw races, running a full schedule for Keith Coons. Now, Keith Coons' deal is funded by a lot of Toyota's partners, but it also has some loyal partners of its own, and Chris was driving on a full salary over there and then took a huge pay cut to come to Toyota to run the asphalt stuff. So I think he's a situation where not a lot of people know his backstory. So you initially think he's from money, but obviously I always
thought it was from money.
Yeah, I feel like
I did too. At the start when he showed up to Hickory Motor Speedway in KBM super late model stocks,
I did too.
And we were beating him in our junk car. I was like, "Ooh, this guy? His dad must own Bell helmets or Bell helicopter."
And I remember when he came to Hickory. For his nameplate, they used the Bell
helmet thing. So we was like, duh, rich kid. And it turns out he was cool as hell, and he's a really good driver. So that was really cool to see. Because he progressed fast. Like literally, he was like, he ran like crap that night, which nothing wrong because that's Hickory Motor Speedway.
There,
But all of a sudden, like a month later, he won the Rattler in the all sorts of super late model races and has flown off since then. So that's really cool to see, and I'm pulling for him through and through because he seems like a really good kid. And
I got to spot for him some at Salem. Well, we won that race in 2016, the spring race there, and I got to spot for him. He's a really good kid. He has a lot of knowledge. He's down to earth.
So basically, you taught him everything that he knows.
Yeah, I was pretty much his mentor, and then that's why when I got to drive.
How old is he? How old is Chris?
He's a year or two older than I am, so 23 or 24. Which,
so
he also looked like he was about 16 when he came home, so that probably helps him. So I look like I'm this age, so I can't pass for 16. Even if I shave now, I used to be able to shave and look like I was 15, but that don't happen anymore.
Now you look like a wet rat.
Yeah.
When you I did the same thing the other day. I was like, what the?
Yeah.
As bad as my beard is, I look terrible with nothing. But anyway,
you don't look 15, but you sure are wearing that shirt like you wore it. Like you was 10.
Well, the last time he wore that shirt, he was probably about 12.
What year is that shirt?
It's a medium.
It's 95.
How old was you in 95?
I wasn't born in 95.
Yeah, it's a medium, but being that is a really cool shirt.
You took good care of it,
dude. That's a nice shirt. I mean,
I have a whole closet full. We should just do a segment on old shirts one day.
Well, maybe if Brent Wentz would join in and just give us a bunch, and That'd be cool.
Yeah, we could put Days Gone By vintage up top, and yeah, that would be good.
I'm sure you've got a couple vintage shirts laying around.
Yeah, I'd like
the house.
to have me a big Dexter shirt somewhere. I know you got one somewhere stashed away.
I don't know if I do. I know my mom probably does.
We might have to. That might be a
the yellow 5. I'd rock that for sure.
The Ecomont 5, man, that was I told him earlier. I was like, man, that was a cool car.
Yeah,
but
that was a nice car.
we're gonna get into stuff like that here a little bit later. But we want to get through some of the Cup and higher series stuff first. But that's pretty much it as far as the Richmond recap goes. I think the next thing we can kind of talk about here is the Matt Kenseth story. If anybody hasn't heard, which I'm sure you have, because it's huge news, so we're not gonna spend a ton of time on it. But Kenseth is now splitting driving duties with Trevor Bayne in the 6 car at Roush Fenway. I did not see that coming. You know, that sounds like something that was made up. When I first seen it, I was like, no way. Well, that's pretty crazy, though. Matt Kenseth back at Roush in the 6 car.
Be interesting to see how he runs.
I think it'd be good.
I think he'll run good.
Yeah, he ain't been out of the seat long. I mean, hell, he won Phoenix. He won 10 races ago.
The reason I say that is he's coming from JGR to Roush, and I think Roush's stuff's gotten a lot better.
I don't think it's that bad. You know,
it's hard to tell right now.
has been running acceptable
on certain tracks.
I watched no, not the whole thing, but I did see him knock the fence down, which is no surprise. But
yeah,
they tend to do that.
I will say that they have shown some speed through Stenhouse. So
yeah,
I think you can't calculate their success off of Trevor Bayne at all. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think Matt's in a point in his career, obviously, where
I think he'll keep it off the wall.
Yeah, he's not going to tear anything up.
That's a big plus for that organization right now.
He may not compete for a win every week, but I think he'll honestly be good for Stenhouse, because Stenhouse really hasn't had that. He had Carl Edwards there, but Carl left about the time Stenhouse was coming to Cup, so he never really had somebody to really work under, which
I forget every day that Carl Edwards is retired. That's just the weirdest thing to me.
He'll probably split duties with Matt Kenseth at the end of the year in the 6 car.
Wouldn't surprise me. That might be the next guy back.
Yeah.
So I'm sure everybody's already heard about that, so we're not going to spend the whole day talking about it. But we did have some really good racing this past week in the Denny Hamlin Short Track Showdown and the Cars Tour race at Orange County, which has super late models and late model stocks. First thing is, we'll talk about the Denny Hamlin race since it was this past Thursday. It was on fanschoice.tv, which we tweeted and Facebooked so everybody could see it and tune in for free. The coverage was a little, they had some connection issues. I'm not going to talk junk because we have connection issues all the time, and I know how easy
First
it
time
is.
we haven't yet, unless something's happened.
God, something's got to be. Is something wrong? Something has to be wrong because nobody said anything yet. We're just going to pretend like we didn't see anything bad said. So, but anyway, Denny Hamlin race, you could have watched it for free. Well, most of it for free. Well, it's for free, but you didn't really. It chopped up. But anyway, pole winner was Denny. No. Who's the pole winner? God dang, I forgot his name.
He races there.
What was his name? Edwards. Something Edwards.
Wayne Edwards, maybe?
Wayne?
No,
that's a.
Who's that?
Oh,
that's
a street stock guy.
Greg
Edwards. Greg Edwards won. I couldn't think of that for nothing.
Yeah.
But Greg Edwards did set on the pole, which was freaking awesome. Got, I think, $1,200.
Really?
Yeah, $1,200 set on the pole, which is awesome because, I mean, if you out-qualified Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch,
you deserve $1,200.
I'd have parked that sumbitch and went home. That's all I need. Got my tire money back. I'm out. But
that they didn't beat you the whole night, so you just pulled in the pit. You know, you didn't race, so
yeah, they didn't beat me. I out-qualified them.
Kyle Busch.
Exactly.
What would you race? I didn't race. I just sat on the pole.
Yeah, but overall, the race
just as good as it did.
The race was good. I think Edwards did. He got in an accident pretty early in the race, actually, but Denny pretty much commanded the lead for the whole race. Kyle passed him on the outside one on the first initial time that they had a restart beside each other, and I think that was in part because, I mean, the top was the way to go the whole night. The apron is so flat there. I think that they really wash up bad, and it's hard to get any grip, even if you're the leader. So eventually, the leader starting on the outside, and he held him off for the rest of the race. And then Kyle at the end, did you get to watch it?
I didn't even watch it. I watched the updates on Twitter.
So Kyle at the end of the race was running second and started he was on the inside. Somebody got to his outside, so he fell back some. So that, like I said, the top was the way to go. And then Sellers drove in there, windshield deep, and moved him out of the way, which, you know, he was just trying to get all he could there. And I don't know exactly what happened, but he hit him hard, and Kyle fell back to like 6th or 7th. And then within 10 laps, he was back in 2nd place on Denny's bumper. I'm like, ugh. If he would have drove like that the whole time, dude, that guy could have went from the back to the front like 6 times in that race. So it was a heck of a show, and it was fun to watch. I was cool that was free to watch, and I think Denny's got a really good thing going on. And hopefully, I was kind of, not that I was disappointed, but I thought there'd be more Cup guys there.
There wasn't many cars either.
Well, there was like 26. They didn't send anybody home. There was like 30 actually, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, but Denny Hamlin showdowns previous, there was 40 plus cars that was on the entry list. So
yeah,
that was definitely I think also the venue. I mean, before that, the Denny Hamlin showdown was at Richmond. So.
Well, they did pack the stands. Their stands were full.
Oh yeah, for fans definitely. And I think the racing would be better there too. But as far as car count, there's going to be more people that want to go race Richmond than there are Langley probably.
I'm trying to look at how many cars are there. I can't get no cell service here.
Well, I can give you the Wi-Fi password.
I got Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but yeah, we're in a metal building. Yeah, you can't really tell. Look at that. You can't really tell, but we're actually in a new spot. We couldn't afford to pay rent in my mom's office anymore, so we moved down to the basement.
third studio in 4 weeks.
Just kidding. We're actually in my race shop now. I thought it was more fitting. We got my late model sitting right there, and we're sitting at the bar where we hang out and have some good times after races. So it's really cool to sit here. I feel like we can let loose a little bit more here and be able to talk all sorts of racing. So, but anyway, that was it for the Denny Hamlin recap. Like I said, we all three think they got something good going. It could maybe improve the car counts and have more Cup drivers. I think the more Cup drivers, the better. But
what does it pay to win something like that, man?
I think it was right at 12 to 15 grand to win that race.
I didn't even know that's a lot.
Well, unless I was totally off. Someone, I swear to God, I heard that it was quite a bit.
Probably was that.
I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't be. And then
for 10 grand. At Tri-County, you had 28 cars show up.
I also seen that Kyle Busch ran a Harrington motor, which was pretty cool. Denny's motor was a
upgrade, right?
I think it was, yeah, the new spec deal, whatever. But anyway, let's move on to the car show race. Our picks for this past weekend.
Yeah, I won. I got that late model stock W.
Well, problem is I got one too, so you didn't gain much ground. I picked Bubba Pollard to win the super late model portion of the race, and I had Tyler Ankrum as my.
You got lucky.
Nah, dog. Yeah,
top 5 got wrecked.
Well, I mean it's Bubba Pollard. How do you not pick him? But you picked Brandon Setzer, who was
should have won it.
And you know who your dark horse was? Stephen Nassy. So
God dang it, man.
We got a little bit to talk about on that situation. I'm sure some of our
my
friends
two picks
here that
wrecked each other.
I mean, Brandon Setzer had him killed.
Oh yeah, he was way faster. But did you get to see that race?
I seen the highlight.
The highlight. Okay, so yeah, that was. And Stefan picked Bubba Pollard and Jared Irvin. Did Jared Irvin even race?
I don't remember seeing him.
I'm pretty sure I just wrote a random name down so Stefan would. Cause I didn't know what he said, but I think he did pick Bubba Pollard, but that don't count because I picked him first. So Stefan, you still have 0 points if you're watching. I picked Lee Pulliam to win the race and Carson Quaffle as my dark horse in the late model stock portion.
Quaffle crashed on lap 1.
He did. He got involved in a crash. Landon picked Deke McCaskill in the Junior Motorsports 88 sticker number car. And your dark horse was whose initials are CM?
CM.
I just wrote initials down. I don't know why I did that. Don't matter. It didn't win.
Who is CM?
And then Stefan picked. God dang it! Who's BM? Bradley McCaskill, maybe? Did he pick Bradley to win?
No, I don't know.
No, Bobby McCarty.
Yeah, Bobby McCarty.
Bobby McCarty. But Bradley actually, that was cool.
We got to take notes more.
New track record was set in both classes, and that was obviously because it was earlier in the year than they're typically running. It's still a fun track to watch race. Have you ever raced there, Dexter?
I've been
never
there.
raced there.
It looks fun.
Yeah, it looks fun.
Yeah, I would love to.
Never raced there.
I would love to race at that track. That definitely looks fun. And our Denny Hamlin picks. You picked Kyle. I picked
Kyle.
Philip Morris, and Stefan picked C.E. Falk. So none of us got those right. But me and Landon both got 3 points because we both picked the winner. And that pretty much keeps us where we was at. I think I'm currently
I get points for most laps led.
No, we gotta figure out our point system because I've changed it every week. But anyway, but that was a good race too. And I guess the late model stock portion, that was pretty much well handled by Deke. Again, he was driving the 88 for owner's points for Josh Berry in Junior Motorsports, while Josh was racing the ARCA race, which we'll get to in a minute. Deke, I got to watch it as well, and Deke ran a great race. He led pretty much the whole thing. He let Lee get in front of him for a few laps, and then Deke got right back around him. Mm-hmm. And Deke in his interview said that he thought he was beat, and then Lee just slowed down. And Lee said, I believe he got just too tight and couldn't rotate the center, and that killed him. Which I imagine there you really have to rotate the center, being that you're running the top and the bottom and switching lanes and having to pass cars and all that. But so the late model race was a good race, but the excitement happened in the super late model race, which was a $10,000 to win race. People like Stephen Wallace, Bubba Pollard, Brandon Setzer, Stephen Nassy, Matt Craig, all of them guys were there. So started off with a pure Setzer domination. I mean, he dominated.
He won the first 3 stages.
It was a 4-stage race, by the way.
First 3.
They've got their stuff figured out.
Oh yeah.
He won 3 stages and was a freaking rocket ship. Like, looked like he was letting off at the flag stand and was just rolling the center and picking up every time. Well,
he's raced there a bunch too.
Yeah, and he's won a lot there. He's won, I think, 2 cars.
He won in Price's.
Yeah, he did.
He won in Price's car, and then he won a few. I think he's won a couple super late model races there in Cars Tour.
He's definitely got figured out.
But Stephen Nassy had other plans.
Well, I don't think he had a plan, did he?
No. I mean, he looked like he drove off in there like a chicken with his head cut off, and he just did. Stephen Nassy did Stephen Nassy things.
I don't know who. I've never.
I mean, he just does something stupid every time he races. He's always fast. He always runs up front. He always does something stupid, usually tears something up. Pisses somebody off. There's usually a fight, and then they move on to next week and do it again.
That's the only thing I have a problem with is on a restart. I've been in that situation where I've had a dominant car. Guy on the inside, he don't give a dang.
No.
He don't care. All he sees is he don't even have a chance to win. And the only thing he's going to do is take you out.
And if you pick the bottom, you're going to get beat on if they're on the top anyway. Mm-hmm. Same deal at like Tri-County too, I feel like.
Unless you got a decent driver below you, that's going to race you clean. I mean, and I'm not going to. I don't care how fast he is and how much money's on the line. Why are you gonna? And he killed both their chances to win. Mm-hmm. He could have used them up a little bit. I mean, he had no intentions of making the corner.
I don't mind racing and maybe trading some paint.
You got to use them.
Just don't go in there and just.
I mean, it looked like in the video that he got loose though, like on entry. But to me, it just looked like he overdrove the corner way too. Like he got in the corner way too hard, got free, chased up the racetrack, and then just stayed there. Mm-hmm. But I mean, Brandon didn't have a chance to make the exit of 2 either because of where Nassy was at. But I mean, I don't think Nassy necessarily went off in the corner saying, "Hey, I'm going to wreck him." But I think he's just out of control in situations like that, and then that's kind of what you get from that. That's why he's always in some type of controversy or predicament. It's almost like he just doesn't think before he acts in situations like that. And when you're racing side by side with somebody, I mean, for me, I ain't gonna lie to you. I mean, I feel like at the end of the race, if you feel like you're good enough to race with them and you get into them a little bit and you're racing side by side, that's fine. But, I mean, if you screw yourself with a chance to win, then you didn't do it right. That's how
on a level of you passing somebody to Brayton Hall's passing you in 2014, what level is it?
Yeah, I mean, I will say that he didn't wreck me beforehand.
Yeah. Well, and he still, I mean, he didn't get, he did it and passed you.
I mean, I'm sure if I was on the other end of it, I would have been celebrating. So
obviously, but I don't think Nassy had no intentions of making the corner.
There was also 25 laps to go.
Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah. I do get it, but
I mean, I think that's too much. Like that's too much time left to do something like that. I mean, I remember I moved Shane in a limited race in like 2012. He was better than me the whole race, but we had a restart with 2 laps to go, and I got into him, and he fell into second, and he couldn't get back to me. Like something like that, I feel like it's fine. But when you move somebody with 30 laps to go, that was clearly way better than you.
Well, he just didn't move him. He put him in a wall.
Yeah, he stuck him in the outside fence.
Well, it's kind of the situation that I was in a couple weeks ago racing. I was in a green, white, checkered situation running second and against a kid, and I could have drove in there and went over my head and hit him in the center of the corner. But if you don't have a chance to move him as you're going in or as you're coming off, then you're going to bonsai the corner anyway to get to him. You know, I feel like if you're not there already and move him a little bit, or if you have to drive all the way to the center to move them out of the way, that's when I think that's when you kind of draw the line, and everybody has their own line that they draw. But
I think it's a technique, and if you don't have the technique mastered,
you got to set yourself up.
I'm not saying I don't think I have the technique mastered, because I'm sure I've done some stupid things driving. I don't think I've ever done anything like at the end of a race that I really regret doing, but I feel like, I mean, I know my dad moved I don't know how many people to win the race back in the day.
The Blade.
I'm sure Dexter's moved his fair share. I know Big Dexter has. So, I don't know. I think it's just – it also comes down to who it is. I mean, Stephen Nassy has a track record, so it's easy for us to be pissed at him. I feel like I'm trying to kind of contradict myself as I talk, because I'm not trying to. I still think Nassy should have done what he
it's one of those racing situations where you just can't
But then I put myself in his situation. I mean, maybe with 5 to go, if you get into him, just don't put him in the wall.
It was awful early.
If you stick him in the fence, it's your fault. If you don't stick him in the fence, you know what? It's racing.
Yeah. I agree with that.
And we're the most least unpolitically correct racing podcast that there is, and that's us literally saying that can happen to anybody, and we could very well do something close to that. Not with 25 to go, though. So, you know, I guess that's our take on it.
It's way too early for something like that to happen.
Yeah, if he would have done that on the green, white, checkered, we would still be pissed. But, you know, I don't know. God dang, he really put him in the wall hard. It's just one of those situations.
Going out with 3 to go.
Yeah.
On a restart with $10,000 on the line.
I mean, $10,000 is a lot of money.
You know, Brandon Setcher's going to have to be. He's going to get to that gearbox and go on. You know, but not with 25 to go. No.
You expect it with 5 to go.
Yeah.
I want to lift that mic up a little bit.
Yeah. Right there.
Right there.
Yeah, you expect that with 5
like
to
you're
go.
singing karaoke at 2 a.m. You know, one of those days. But yeah, that was so there was a lot of racing going on this weekend in the short track industry. A lot of big races, I should say. But where are we at now, time wise? 9:01. So we got a little time to take a quick break and just kind of get our thoughts gathered up here, because we got a lot of stuff on the list to talk about, and we're going to learn a little bit more about Dexter Jr. here and about his career. A little bit about his father's career. I want to talk about the whole national championship thing, which is really cool, as well as your run for a national championship, which you just told me about, which blew my mind. So we're going to talk about both of those things, and for the time being, just stay right here. We'll be right back with some more short track racing action and some maybe wrong opinions. I don't know. We'll be back here shortly, so stay tuned.
In the bottom lane, one trying to use the momentum of the high lane. Dylan Wilson gets his nose out front. Gregory's not ready to give it up just yet. Now he'll backpedal up.
Late model feature, and it was a good one. Dylan Wilson works his way by the 21 of Monty Cox, and then he holds him off.
I wouldn't want it to end any other way, but that was just awesome side-by-side racing. It's just classic Hickory for you.
I don't want to say anything out of my place here, but you can't expect much from people that run 18-second laps. But, you know, they just stopped right here. I'm not sure what was going on.
On the outside, working both sides of the street, coming through turn 4 to pick up his first ever late model stock car win at Hickory Motor Speedway.
You know, we fought hard and was patient, and luck was on our side tonight. We caught the cautions right. A couple of them got sent to the back, and I put this piece in victory lane, man. I couldn't be more happy for all my guys. And
real quick, where can they hear you talk about this race later on this week?
Tuesday night, 8:30, Windshield Deep podcast on Facebook. We'll be talking all about it, and I'll probably be whining a little bit, but I'll still be promoting the short track racing industry. So tune in, and y'all have a good night.
Thank you.
All right, back here with episode 9. We've had a lot of stuff to talk about. We're trying to make it quick because there's so much going on. But I think the first thing that I wanted to touch on is after this little break segment here, I want to have Landon. We didn't really pick one yet, but do you have any races? We did the time machine race of the week deal. Do you have any races off the top of your head that you think people should check out for sure, and that I could post a link while I look up something else?
Goodies Dash, Daytona 2001, I'm going to say. There was a huge wreck at the start. Crashed a bunch of people. Scott Weaver broke his leg. Trying to think. Oh, Danny Bagwell flipped during that race, and it was the most horrendous crash.
Was that the one that he flipped all the way down
I've ever seen in my life?
So I think Dad ran in 02.
Every single piece of sheet metal came off of that race car,
and he was just laying out.
He unbuckled himself and just laid down on the asphalt with it.
That was
on
terrible.
His side. Didn't hurt him or anything, but I don't remember. I think Dad ended up. That might have been one of the races. One race, Dad put AJ Frank upside down in the lake.
In the lake?
Yeah, in the lake. No,
Damn.
Yeah, that might be it. I think it was. They were racing for the lead, and he squeezed Dad in the wall, so Dad caught him in the left rear quarter panel and sent him down across the infield.
Okay, well, so I'm going to find a link for y'all real quick, and we're going to touch more on that. But there's something, we're trying to do segments every week now.
Christian Elder may have won that race, yes.
And every week we got this segment thing. Last week we did the hot lap segment, which was fun and made us look like idiots. But we had a good time doing it.
The edited version was even better.
And
the raw was a little.
But this week we didn't really have enough time to film anything because we're racing this weekend, all sorts of stuff going on. But we did have time to find some good social media videos that pertains to stuff that we enjoy. And the first one here, give me a second. But the first one here is a very good one. Let me find the
disclaimer. I haven't seen this yet, so.
Oh, it's okay. It's PG for sure.
Not exactly sure what we're getting into.
It's all audience here. But let me pull this up. This is the greatest thing I've probably ever seen in my life.
I'll be back and win at that.
Yeah, now that.
So what we got here?
Look at 14.
So this is what I'm doing.
God, that looks like an RC track. I think it is. Look at old boy in the 27 back here.
Yeah, that's
Homewor's got to have a lot of horsepower.
Yeah.
Look at the steering wheel he's got.
Yeah, that's a really nice. I'm trying to.
Face helmet.
They're in it to save tires.
Dale Earnhardt.
Give me 1 second here.
Tony Stewart here in the middle.
You got a bigger right rear, you got a little bit of stagger.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is the video I was talking about, and this is called Modified Tractor Racing. So just watch.
Yeah, these are under these guys are under caution.
Where's the pace tractor?
Pace tractor.
I mean, these guys absolutely get it going.
This guy's still waving at the crowd.
Oh, they're getting in line here. Man, look at that corner. God, I bet they flip like crazy in this thing.
Well, they ain't got going yet. You gotta let them go.
Oh.
Green flag. Oh, it's coming to the green right here.
How do you know?
Better tighten it up.
This guy's still waving at the crowd.
Is he smoking a cigarette?
Yeah.
Is that Dick Trickle?
Yeah, you can smoke while you race these things.
They don't double up?
No. It's too dangerous.
There's not enough room.
Two to go. Oh, there's definitely 2 grooves at this racetrack.
1 to go.
Oh, they are doubling up. Look.
They know what they're doing. This ain't no joke. Took a little longer than I thought it would, but
Here you go.
there we go. Green flag. Now, just imagine. Watch the high side Titler
down on the bottom.
Watch the high side Titler come in right here in a second.
Oh, he moved up.
Hold her wide open.
Oh, he's about to.
Oh, they're getting wound up now.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that
here
boy. I see you, biggin.
Dang.
Look at him, dude. Running the top side. I'm out of here. See y'all later, you slow ass.
Clear all around.
Clear, use all the track.
Why go to the bottom? He's keeping out the...
God, he's leaving them.
The
I'm going to see
weight.
him crash.
Yeah. They don't crash, so we
take
won't
care
watch
of
it
it,
anymore, but
This old dude right here should be able to win. Look how little he is.
yeah. So this is
got a
another
weight
one. This
advantage.
is another really good one I wanted to show. Watch this wreck.
Oh.
Just watch.
Oh.
Look.
Is that cowboy?
Now,
Is somebody
reading
cowboy?
by the comments, this guy said he was okay. So, dude, look at that car.
Oh, my God.
Let me just play this one more time.
This is RJ when we took him to dang...
He
God
hurt
dang.
this car. You know what I'm saying?
That thing, it had the lightest, most screwed up.
It knocked the tire off the rim. See
The
that?
fuel cell's in his
The
helmet.
rims. He's checking his gas gauge, ain't he?
Yeah. So
That's RJ when we took him to Antioch.
so that's pretty much for today. That's
Go back. Look.
what
turn
we got.
3 wall. Is that what that means down at the bottom? Turn 3? What is that?
Yeah, that's turn 3. Look, down here, they wrote it on the wall.
They
On the
wrote
safer,
it on
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
on the safer barrier there.
Yeah.
I think they got their corners mixed up. Is that not turn
So
4?
Well,
yeah, not
getting
much
into
planning
30.
went into this week's
Bad angle.
segment, but yeah, I thought that the lawnmower racing was cool on that little B track. I mean, we had to have a lot of fun doing that. And
I feel like...
I don't even have a lawnmower.
Yeah.
we need a roll cage.
We need a 0-turn race.
My neighbor let me borrow his lawnmower to go race.
There was one more cool thing. I'm gonna wait till the end to show that, but I wanted to show the crowd that was at Bowman Dre this past weekend.
Oh yeah, it
Corey
was
Latham.
I was gonna go.
Yeah, Corey uploaded a video of that. Good night.
Yeah.
That's
he
insane.
said he could get us in there.
I know. He said he'd get us all three in a race
Been
car.
waiting on that phone call.
Yeah, I'm still waiting. But anyway, I wanted to touch a little bit on your career, being that you've won over 100 races, and that's including limiteds and late models, or is
And
that
3 mini stock races?
And 3 mini stock races.
Back when the Pro 4s were the real deal.
It was
Or
strictly
mini.
mini stocks. Yeah.
So
Oh,
you
yeah, there was
won
2 divisions.
110 odd races throughout your career, and you've been racing since '98.
8.
Hell, you ain't that old then. So I mean, you're like a Cup veteran right now. So you shouldn't feel. You
How
always
old
talk
are
about
you?
how old you are.
38.
Yeah, you could still race for 10 more years efficiently.
Yeah.
In the Cup Series. Now, late models, you got 30. You got 30
if you
more.
look at Sterling, if you look at
Either
Sterling
Morgan
Marlin,
Shepherd or
Look at Sterling Marlin. You got 50
Yeah.
years in you.
that guy gets out and he can't walk. in
Or
a straight
that guy
line,
that just
but
ran the
he's
K&N
winning.
race.
Yeah.
You might make your first K&N start at the age of 90, like Herschel Madrift did.
I'll
So,
take it.
so you still got that opportunity ahead of you. So, but anyway, so what got you? Obviously, your dad got you started into racing, but I mean, was you like his crew guy forever? And then
I
just
didn't go to the racetrack. I went to all the races in the stands because back then you couldn't get into pits unless you were 16. You couldn't
Yeah,
get in
Dad
the
said they
pits.
used to sneak him in the back of the trailer.
So I didn't really start going to races till I was 17. I went to a couple of them in Greenville with him in 17, but started when I was 18 in 98. So I didn't. I mean, my dad's old school. Okay, yeah, your dad's old school too, Landon. He didn't want no kids in the pits. Didn't want no women in the pits. It's
Same
strictly
thing,
about
yeah.
racing. You go there to do one job. You go there to race and you win, and then you go home and spend it with your family.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I want my kids there with me every single Saturday night.
Absolutely.
I love having my kids there, and my wife. If she ever wanted to go, she can go. But I love having my kids there. I wish my dad would have done that with me back then. But like I say, I couldn't get in the
until
pits
you were
anyway.
16 years
Yeah.
old, right?
Yeah.
So you started running mini stocks.
No,
Did you-
I started running late limited. My first car was a limited car from Jeff Hagman.
Okay. Did you only run
Which
a
is-
Hickory? Did you run Tri
No,
County
we
too?
ran. We practiced back then. It was Thursdays, all day practice at Tri County. We went for a couple months, nonstop every Thursday. I was terrible, terrible. I thought I was doing good. I thought I was just laying it in there. 1780s, 18 seconds, 18 seconds.
Digging.
Oh, I thought I was. I thought I was flying. So my dad got aggravated one time. He said, "Son, you're gonna have to get in the corner." I said, "Man, I'm doing all I can do, bro."
I'm dogging it, Dad.
Oh, yeah. So I finally got up to like 1750s. I was like, "No, seriously, you're gonna have to get back in. You got to get in the corner." So he hops in his late model while I'm out there practicing. I mean, I ran a whole tank of gas out. I never stopped. And he hops in his late model. It was the HydroPure number 5 car.
Oh yeah.
He gets behind me and lifts me all the way down the front stretch. And whenever I'm lifting, I'm hitting the brakes, tires are squalling. Whenever he lets me go, that's where I should lift. That's how I learned how to drive Tri County. He did the same thing down the back stretch. He jacked me up, going down the front stretch and back stretch, and where I needed to lift, that's where he let me go.
Man.
If I wrecked, I wrecked.
Scared to death.
Damn, that's awesome.
Then once I seen that I wasn't going to wreck, that I can just keep driving in there harder and harder. That's how I learned how to drive Tri County.
That's one thing I wish I could have done growing up is obviously Dad was already done racing, so I never got to actually, be a part of something when Dad was driving other than watching from the stands. So I wish that I would have been able to do that with him, and we tried to get him to get back in something, but I don't think that's ever going to happen.
My dad's always hinted about. He's like, man. He'd always hinted some crap here and there about jumping in my stuff, and I would I'd love to see him in it, and I'd love to see your dad in it, and it'd be really cool. Need to get Senior back
Well,
in
my
one.
dad said he was going to race this year, but he
Really?
needs to do it before it gets hot because He's gonna need some oxygen around.
You heard it live here on Windshield Deep.
He's gonna run
Canipe Senior, the comeback.
He's gonna say he's gonna run one twin 40s, and I can run the next twin 40.
That'd be awesome. Holy.
But he
hell.
said he is gonna race, and I mean, I'm all for it. I'd buy the tires. I
wonder if we could get Dad to run one.
I think the last time they raced together was that Allison. Was you? How old was you when they raced that Legacy race, that 300 lap Legacy race? You remember that?
I don't know. I don't remember. It was probably 98.
I think it was 98.
I know that Dad won because he has a trophy.
You know why your daddy won?
Probably wrecked your dad.
He did.
He told me it was a.
Dad led 298 or 99
Oh yeah, it was
laps.
300 laps. See, that's crazy. Allison Legacy cars. Allison Legacy cars used to run 300 laps at Hickory, and they packed the place. And
how in the hell can an Allison Legacy car make it 300 laps?
Yeah, but
Rob won.
Yeah, but Dad said he spun out like 4 times during the race. He still came back and moved Dexter Senior to win.
He did.
You know, have you ever driven an Allison Legacy car?
No, they were driving for somebody, weren't
they?
They
were driving for the
like
Allison Legacy people.
See, I've never even seen one, I don't think, in person. I mean, I know what they are.
They don't. Like, there's not stuff like that these days, you know.
Yeah.
Like the series had house cars and
Well, now, that gets us to our next topic. Now, when you're 10 years old, you don't have to run Allison Legacy. You can just kind of run limited. And we kind of touched on it before, but a friend of mine brought it up, and I wanted to get another opinion here. And this is kind of I wanted to take a few weeks to mull on it, and I heard other people talk about it. And today I was asked by Hickory what I thought of it. You know, being that I've been racing there, and what my kind of final verdict was on it of being a couple 12-year-olds racing. And as of now, I'm okay with it. And that's because nothing's happened. Ask me again 8 weeks from now, it might be different. As of now, they're doing fine. The people that are causing issues are not the 12-year-olds. It's people that's been racing for 10 years. So,
I said this before. You know, I feel like I learned a lot when I first started racing, and then.
But you practiced a lot, right?
Yeah,
you really practiced a lot.
And also driving something that was not that great taught me.
I remember talking to your dad. I'm like, you got to get him out of that car.
Yeah, and then when we built the new car, the new car, when we got the other car, we ran better. But still, you know, I feel like I progressed pretty quickly. But still, at 14, it took me, you know, I felt like 14 was a good age for me to get in it and learn what I was doing.
Exactly.
And I was also big enough at that point to where, like, physically mature enough that if I hit the fence, it wasn't going to hurt me.
Well, that's another thing people don't realize. Driving a race car at Hickory is pretty physically demanding. Like, it's not that easy. I mean,
driving a race car, period, is not easy.
It might be 50 laps in a limited race.
Yeah, you have to hustle.
But that's damn hard. I mean, you got to absolutely get. Now, I guess if you're just cruising around running in the back, which these kids aren't doing, I mean, it's actually kind of impressive that they're able to hold on to the steering wheel for 50 laps, being that they're this tall when you walk beside them. And
I mean, I think that if I started racing earlier, I mean, I raced go-karts. I started racing go-karts when I was 4. But I stopped racing when I was 12, and I'd gotten a limited at 14. You take somebody like Trey, you could put him in a limited, he'd be fine. I mean, he's raced since he was
quarter midgets.
Yeah, I mean, he's raced since he was little. So
yeah. I
think if I wouldn't have took that gap, if Dad would have put me in a limited car at 12 and let me practice, I probably would have learned even faster. But I don't feel like I don't think he thought I was ready. He waited until I told him that I was ready to do this and that I was going to be in the shop enough to where he felt like it was justified for him to work on it. At 12 years old, I don't think that I showed that kind of interest. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I have mixed emotions on it, but I feel like
it's hard to say. I mean, there's different answers for everybody. There's people like that I've seen. There's drivers, and I'm not going to name any names, mainly because I don't know any of them, but I've seen a few of them that could run late models and be okay. That is 13 years old. But I've seen some that's like, ugh. You know, hopefully I don't have to pass him on lap 5 on the outside, lapping him. Yeah. I mean, they've done a good job, I think, so far. And every kid that they've been seeing, these 12-year-olds and 13, these kids have been running in the top 10, top 5, which is cool. And there's been 25 car limiteds at Hickory the last few weeks. So They're doing a good job. I'm impressed. I was skeptical at first. I think at the start of the year, I was like, oh, my God, I'm just going to have to run late models, but I can't even afford to run late models, so how am I going to do this? Well, now it's like...
It's going to be fine until one of them causes a bad wreck or they get in a wreck themselves and hurt themselves.
Yeah, well, God forbid. Hopefully everything stays on the right path and they keep doing a good job, because I'm pulling for them all. They're going to move the sport in the right direction eventually. It's cool to see kids doing that. The point is, though, you can race a damn truck at 16 years old. So like we talked about earlier, they want the kids to race at 12 in limiteds, at 13s in late models, at 14s in super late models, at 15s another year of super late, and then 16 they get an ARCA and truck. I mean,
or if you're like me and Dexter and you,
well,
we run late models until
you're 20. But that's just another, and that would be cool. And we talked about earlier how cool it would be where if it was 12 years old and you had to race, you had to start off in street stocks or 4 cylinders and learn the ropes.
I remember Matt McCall running street stocks.
Yeah, and then 13, you had to go to damn limiteds.
His first year was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks.
He progressed.
Like NASCAR could have their own approval process through.
Don't even get me started on NASCAR's approval.
Well, I'm just saying they could have another section of it in just with late model short track racing. I mean, if they want to get more involved with short track racing, then why not use us and realize that if there's a 14-year-old or 15-year-old kid, or let's say, for instance, a 18-year-old guy. He's never ran a truck race, but he's got a ride for Charlotte. He's won 15 late model races and 5 limited races and a street stock race in his career. He should be approved. One guy shows up that's 18 years old and has raced 1 year of super late models, never won a race in his life, probably wrecked a few times. I mean, you never know their driving style. He shouldn't be approved. I think at the end of the day, it comes down to what I'm trying to say is they should really, I think they should pay attention to short track racing and use that as part of the approval process. Why do I want to say this credit approval process really works, like that commercial right now? I
think what you're saying, yeah.
I think it'd be cool. I think they could implement something like that.
I think they should look at what you've raced. I mean, just going back, I'm not going to go off on my example again, but just talking about me real quick, I mean, I've ran however many races at Hickory, won however many races. They should be able to look at that and understand that I'm not going to go out there and do something stupid. But they don't look at it that way. It's all about what you've ran and, how big of a track you've been on and that kind of thing. It doesn't matter how competitive you were or anything like that, and I think that's majorly flawed. Somebody like Dexter couldn't even... Have you ran anything besides late model? Have you raced anything?
Nope.
Okay, so because he hasn't done that, if he had a deal to go to, like, Iowa or Gateway, he couldn't go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He would have... and that's stupid. Yeah. Like, that's so dumb because... I mean, he's got way more experience than pretty much all the kids in the truck series right now. Maybe not at that level, but racing minded.
It's still a race car. Has Senior ever driven anything above like late model stock?
Yeah, he ran Bush.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Back in the day.
Yeah,
back in the day, it didn't matter though. Yeah. You could go straight to Dover.
I was trying to think of a good example.
Yeah, but
for instance, Lee Pulliam. He's ran's K&N at a few races. He's never ran above that, right?
No.
So is he approved?
No.
So
crazy answer.
So you're telling me right now that Lee Pulliam couldn't get approved to go run the Daytona 500 or the truck Daytona race or whatever?
Oh, definitely not Daytona. Lee couldn't even get approved to go to Charlotte.
That's probably that's just ridiculous.
Lee Pulliam actually needs to be in an Xfinity race.
Or Gateway. He couldn't get approved to go to Gateway. Yeah, so
I don't know. I agree with you on that.
It's mom said that she told she told the Dexter to give dad to give the chainsaw to Dexter. That's funny.
Yeah, don't forget we actually have the Q&A coming up here in just a few minutes. But Steve said, what happened to the days when guys used to take their open trailers to the track with open trailers? double typed it there, but to Southside Speedway and then race somewhere on Saturday like South Boston or Orange County. Now we have guys with cup-style haulers that don't want to travel any further than they have to and only want to run one race per week. I think that
It's because
it's true, but they're not making. I mean, back then you go win $4,000 in one weekend if you won 2 races. Now the most you're gonna win is $2,000, but you're gonna lose all. You're not gonna make any money. Period.
Yeah. Also, the people with big haulers are spending $10,000 a race to run late model stocks, when back then it wasn't like that at all. So yeah, when you're spending that kind of money.
I am on a damn open trailer, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know when you forgot that. I'm on an open trailer still.
Our
So
first year was an open trailer.
yeah,
I ran on an open trailer for years.
yeah,
So
I'm back on the
until
open trailer
2015.
bandwagon here.
And then, mid-June and July, it gets so hot, and you want an enclosed trailer.
They had it when
Hopefully
it
we might
rains.
work some out before then.
God, when it
Yeah.
rains, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Especially when you have to haul it home in the rain and then
Yeah.
clean it up.
Yeah, I might just have to
I think
use
that
somebody.
trailer lasted for about a week.
Oh, look at here. Brandon Setzer just joined. We just had a good talk on your race this past
On your
week. You
weekend.
have to go back and watch
Stop
it.
hitting the wall, Brandon.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
it was all his fault. But yeah, so a couple other quick things I want to hit on before we end the audio version of this is what is there any off the top of your head? Let's talk about fights. Not necessarily yours, but what in your lifetime? What is the greatest fights you've ever seen in short track
Jeff
racing?
Hageman.
Really?
Yeah. He wrecked, he spun, and he even owned the race car, Robin Harris. He owned the race car. Jeff Hageman spun Robin Harris out.
And he owned Robin's car?
Both cars. Spun them both out.
That's a racer, boy.
Spun them
Tell you
both out.
what.
I'm helping Jeff, 1997. Old fat guy comes down after the race. You know Jeff. I don't know if you ever hung out with Jeff Hageman.
No, but I know you're talking about.
Let me tell you something. The dude come down there. The guy's like, he starts running his mouth, and Jeff's running his mouth. The guy's like, well, I think we need to step outside. Jeff goes, brother, we outside. And they just, Jeff just walls out and just whoops his
So
tail.
it was ugly.
It was very ugly.
One
it
of the
was very ugly.
I didn't see this one, but this is the coolest damn story I've ever heard in my entire life. And it was over a few beers, but I was with my grandpa one night, and we was talking dash racing and how the tech used to be and how everything's changed and all that. Well, I don't know the name, but I'm still not going to name any names, but I don't think he was racing. He was a crew chief, and a certain official told him, I don't know if he told him he was wrong or what, but they got really mad at each other. Well, my grandpa never really said what happened as far as the fight goes. But, my grandpa won 5 championships. So, he always wore a ring, won 5 dash championships. And you'll like this, Landon. I guess they got in a fight. Well, then after the fight happened, I said, Dean, what the hell happened? What'd you do to him? He said, I made him a 5-time champion. He's like, what do you mean? Because I hit him in the damn mouth 5 times with this ring. So it left the imprint on us. I thought that was the coolest story I ever heard. So I really want to win a championship so I can wear a ring around and punch somebody with it. So I can tell them I made them a champion. So I just thought that was the coolest damn badass old story I've
One of
ever
my favorite
heard.
stories that Dad told me was back when he was running late model. He went to Florence, and the Powell brothers were running there, and they were like, Dylan, I don't know, you probably don't know who they are, but they were like the hometown kids from there. They were brothers. They raced late models.
Well, their
And
dad owned the track
yeah.
back then, right?
yeah,
Okay.
pretty sure.
Yeah.
And Dad went down there and
Which track?
Florence, South Carolina. Yeah,
Only track I ever wrecked at. It had no walls and hit a wall.
yeah. Has one wall and Dexter hit it.
I hit it.
What did you race? The late models there?
A truck.
Oh, yeah.
And Dad was running behind the first Powell brother, like mid-pack or something, and he said, I wrecked him, and that didn't go over very well. And then a couple of laps later, I got to like second or third, and they had a caution, and then I found myself second behind the other Powell brother with a couple of laps to go, and he said he kept throwing up number 1 in his mirror so I could see it. Every time he'd under caution, he'd just throw number 1 up, giving me hell. So he said, going off into 1, I wrecked his ass. He said, and I tore my shit up, destroyed my car, destroyed his. We're sitting on the racetrack, and old boy that helps Setzer still, older guy, I can't think of his name now.
Is it Doug?
No,
Ain't Doug?
not Hoke, maybe, but
Hoke?
Is it Hoke?
Yeah.
There's an older gentleman named Hope.
Yeah, Hope.
I think that's who it was. But whoever
Brandon's
it was,
still in here, I think. He'll tell us right now.
Used to
something Hope. I've talked to him a few times. He's a cool guy.
Used to help Dad. Dad said, "I'm sitting on the racetrack. My stuff's destroyed, but I know they're gonna fight." So they get out and they're trying to fight, and Hope runs to Dad's window and says, "You just sit right here, son. I'll take care of it." And Dad said he beat their ass on the racetrack.
Wow.
But that's like the coolest story. Yeah, Hope. Dad said that was one of the coolest stories Dad's told me. And I just wish I could have witnessed that because I felt like that would have been awesome. And also, real quick, another one really, really fast. My dad got wrecked at Lakeland, Florida in a Goodies Dash car by Larry Cottle, and my grandpa was spotting for him. And this was a televised race, and my grandpa, he wrecked Dad with like one lap to go or something, or a couple laps to go. Larry won, went to victory lane. My grandpa came out of the spotter stand, made it all the way to victory lane. As soon as Larry put his window net down, Grandpa punched him in the face. Damn. And then left.
Larry Cottle?
Larry Cottle. Nobody seen.
Not old JV.
Yeah, nobody seen Pawpaw hit him or nothing. And then they go to interview Larry. He's got a bloody nose. He's like, "Somebody hit me." Nobody to this day. Well, Cottle. Now I'm ratting him out, but nobody to this day knew that he hit him in the
Larry Cottle
face.
Probably knows now. I'm pretty sure he's on Facebook.
Maybe he does. Well, he got what he deserved that night, but that was another funny story.
Wow, it was all good. Good fun times. Another.
He says 75 is still whoop ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hoke actually also told me a story one time that he left. My grandpa was either helping Dennis or Hope was helping my grandpa, and my grandpa left from wherever Hope was, and he got home and there was a damn raccoon in his car. Hope put a live raccoon, just put it in his car, or a possum or something. He said it started hissing going down the world, like from Hickory to Wilkesboro. So evidently the Hope guy's a cool dude and crazy, but yeah, that's some good stuff. I did a short track fight, which I thought that there might be one between the 6 crew and the 51 crew the other night at the Cars Tour race. I was really tuning in hard, but I just can't. Them guys are too awesome and nice to.
While we're talking about fights, did you not get in a fight with somebody at Hickory around my limited days or something?
Zach.
I believe I remember seeing you run down pit road, jump the wall, and then hit somebody or tackle somebody or something of that nature.
Me and Zach, what's his how do you say his last name?
Bringer. What exactly happened there?
Well, I mean, Zach's wild back in the day. Okay, Zach gets into the 00 2 or 3 weeks in a row, and I think Dad's had enough. So Dad throws a water bottle. I think Zach finished third.
Yeah,
he might have won. Shane might have finished second. I don't remember, but Dad throws a water bottle at him.
This was the Roger Pitt days, right?
Yeah, this was that year.
Was it?
Yeah.
So Dad throws a water bottle at him, and Zach gets out of the car, and he's charging at Dad. So I grab him. Zach's a big old boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially when he's pissed.
He's a big old boy, and the only thing I done was held on to him with on a collar, and we just went around and around. We fell down. I think Donnie Houston or somebody come and tackled us, and I wasn't letting go, and he wasn't letting go. No punches were thrown.
Well,
it's just
if it was a Hickory cops, then you probably got wailed and beat.
Well,
the damn Hickory cops, they don't put up with no fighting.
No,
remember that
somebody
video
says,
that
"Hey,"
old
they're
boy,
like,
he went and got in somebody's face in Victory Lane's like, "You son of a bitch." He said something, and that Hickory cop just throat slammed him on the back of a guy's car.
Way overly aggressive.
Yeah. You're lucky you're a Huffman, or you probably got slammed that one night that you went and confronted Brayton Halls.
Well, if Piercy had anything to do with it, he probably would have me slammed.
No,
that's a different story.
That's years ago. But so Dad, I didn't know you was a little crazy. You started.
I was pissed. I was just getting tired of him just running over Shane.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Well, Shane's too daggum nice. Shane ain't gonna
say nothing to nobody.
He's not.
I monster trucked him that week, and Moffitt was more pissed than anybody. He come down there trying to fight, and Shane didn't say a word.
Yeah,
I had to go apologize.
Now Shane's brother-in-law, he's a big old boy.
Shane's got some big boys that help him.
He helped out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is right. I remember that. Yeah, Shane did have a little posse.
Well, hell, if you just seen Shane,
well, back then Shane didn't look like Shane now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shane still, if you didn't know him, you might think he'd fight you, and then you'd be a little worried.
Yeah.
But if you knew him, then you ain't too worried about it, cause he ain't gonna do nothing to you.
Yeah, he won't say nothing.
Yeah, he's a good guy though. He's always been cool at the racetrack and stuff.
Yeah.
I was going to aggravate Shane the other day. His interviews have gotten quite a bit better as he's progressed.
Oh, it used to be the whole.
Car
Dexter.
was good. Dexter did a really good job.
Dexter did a good job.
Country boy, ain't it?
Yeah, now I was gonna aggravate him the other day because he had an interview. I caught up with him at Bristol in the pits, and he had an interview there around the time I was talking to him, and he did a really good job. So I was gonna give him hell for that, but I never got a chance to.
Yeah, I'm always glad to see people come from Hickory and make it up there. But man, this is kind of a stupid thing that I wanted to touch on. I seen this the other day on the news report, or something on Facebook. I heard there's a TV show coming out focused on the lives of NASCAR spouses. My initial thought. Okay, so I don't know if this is gonna be like the Real Housewives of Mooresville or what, but this is just another situation where I need to shut my damn mouth. But they could use that money.
Danica was still racing, then
Ricky would be.
no, not Ricky. Aaron Rodgers.
Well, it would be even funnier if Ricky was one of the
Housewives?
housewives. Yeah. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers would be one. He's a housewife. So that's pretty crazy, though. I don't know.
I haven't seen that. So
it's gonna be on CMT. I don't think they filmed a pilot, but I don't know if it's got fully picked up yet. But I did read some rumors about that, and as of now, I think Austin's wife and which they've actually got a pretty cool following. So them and
probably Ty's wife,
Austin's wife, and Paul Swan's wife.
Who?
Paul's
Menard.
No. Yeah, Austin's buddy.
Oh.
But anyway, I think that I may be wrong. I just seen it. I just seen it in on a post, so it might be totally fake. But I thought it'd be. I didn't know who was in it at first, so I was like, "What the hell?" And then I don't know. It could be cool. I mean, at first I was like, "That's not gonna help the sport," but who knows?
Well,
maybe.
I mean, it might not help it in our eyes, but if
but it
get
might
something
not be
to make bring in more, women watching.
And them shows are popular now. I mean, them housewives shows and all that.
At this point, anyway, we can gain more viewers for what we do on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, then that's a bonus.
Also, the Madhouse TV show, I believe, is back out.
What about Thomas Bean?
Oh, yeah. Thomas Bean joined. Yeah, he big win this weekend, right? Won at Greenville Pickens.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Thomas Bean won this weekend.
The second race.
Yeah.
Of the twins. Yeah.
Didn't Phillip win this weekend, too, as well?
Thomas has come a long way. I don't Phillip who Morris.
Yeah.
Oh, God, we forgot to talk about the damn throttle hang. And this has nothing to do with Phillip, but the throttle hang at East Carolina. Did you see that?
Where the guy went out of the racetrack?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That
freaking
was
ballpark.
Insane. Yeah. Yeah, and he hit the, ended up in the dang
woods.
Yeah,
covered in mud.
Yeah, it was crazy.
How about that? Guardrails, a little scary. I mean, I've never raced on a guardrail racetrack, I don't guess, but.
Nashville's got guardrails.
You ain't never been to Florence, then, have you?
No. And you said you hit it. You hit the only wall they had.
Yeah.
Speaking of no walls, I remember when the Dash Series went dirt racing, and I'm pretty sure your dad went off the racetrack on one side and came out the other.
Yeah, I read an article. I meant to show that to my dad, but yeah, he got the lead, and he said he set his car up like a damn dirt car. Everybody else had set their stuff up basically to just run a little slick asphalt track. So he said he came in there with the damn track bar backwards and every lap, and said he got to the front, and he said that his spotter was Lenny Chandler, who's been helping us out a little bit on the late model stuff, which is really cool, and I've got to reconnect with him, old Dash guys, which is awesome. But anyway, he was Dad's spotter, and he said that Dad was just blistering lap times. He's like, hell yeah, keep digging. He was like picking up like car lengths at a time, just lap after lap. So finally, he was running Q laps on lap 50 or whatever, and old boy just ballparked her a little bit, ran over the side, and went under the bleachers. Like, I was sitting in the bleachers watching the race, watching my dad lead, and all of a sudden what the hell? It goes right back on the track.
That's the only thing I remember. Two things from that race. I remember Eric Wilson going underneath the grandstands, and I got scared to death because as a child I thought he was going to hit the grandstand. They were all going to
collapse, and we was all going to die.
Yeah, I
that's
remember
what
that.
I thought too.
And then also the other thing I remember from that race is Jake Hobgood went off the racetrack and hit a tree, and I remember seeing the tree go. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah, that's crazy. We both remember that. Just you knew. That's what Brenton said. He said, "Hey, if they went off a track, you didn't see nothing happen. They's good.
Yeah.
You seen trees shaking? Red flag.
Yeah,
like, immediate red flag.
It destroyed it too.
That shit's scary, man. I mean, all jokes aside, guardrails and no fences at racetracks are a scary ass thing. I'm glad that Hickory's fenced in, and all these local tracks typically have a good fence.
Speaking of no walls, going back to 2 years ago when Will Kimmel went off the racetrack at Mobile.
That was really, like, that was almost, I mean, that was
he
like
got lucky it didn't hurt him. He hit that Jersey barrier and flipped into like a Silverado. And
hit a truck.
Else.
Yeah. In the parking lot.
He
didn't ballpark it. He parking locked it.
Yeah, throttle hung on it too, I'm pretty sure, on a restart. But
yeah, throttle hanging stuff, going out of the ballpark, that's no good, especially in short track racing. Not that they're not as safe as Cup cars, but, you know, they're not built with hundreds of thousands of dollars like Cup cars are, so it's always scary to see. So right now is a good time, I think, to go ahead and end our audio portion of the podcast. We've been kind of going over the time limit here lately, but we're trying to back that down some. So we're just going to do a little quick Q&A here. Probably end at about 10 o'clock tonight.
First of all.
But what we want to do first here is thank all of our sponsors, which I get to rambling, so my bad. But we've got
much fun, Dylan.
Well, it's so fun. I just love talking about short track racing. I can sit here and do this for hours. Like me and Clay Rogers, little known fact. I don't even know if I should say this, but after he left, or after the podcast was over, me and him sat in that same spot, well, actually right here, and talked about racing for 3 more hours. I mean, it was the greatest night ever. He's the real deal. But anyway, this is it for the audio version of the podcast, and we'll continue doing the Q&A. But we got to thank all of our sponsors: Fox Outdoor, Carolina SimWorks, Heavenly Sweets, Blondie's Restaurant, One Designs Wraps, and PRW Chassis for all the support this year. We are going to have, like I said, a Q&A session. One more thing, we're not gonna be back as of now next week. We might work something out. I'm gonna be out of town, so we'll see what happens. But we usually delay a little bit on the audio upload. So thanks for tuning in. Landon, you got anything to you guys tell anybody bye or anything?
No, I think you pretty much covered it. Dylan's gonna be on vacation next week, so we might be able to figure something out for like a
maybe a live 2-way broadcast where I'm sitting on the beach in Destin, Florida, and you can be in Hickory.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
So excited about that.
We'll have fun.
I think so are all the audios uploaded now?
All the audios are 100% uploaded.
So those are shareable now. So we're caught up on that. I know a couple of people.
Back to our first episode at the old location.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, it takes forever to do that. That's why I don't. But we're working on it. Hopefully, the next time you see us, we might have new equipment sitting here.
Another upgrade.
Yeah, we might have a full upgrade. Do like our location. Dexter, did you have fun tonight?
I did.
Okay, well, you heard it. This is Dylan Wilson, Landon Huffman, and Dexter Canipe Jr. This is the voice of grassroots racing. Live every day like it's Saturday, folks. We will see you next time. And, yeah. Now it's time for some Q&A sessions. So we'll keep rambling around. If anybody has any questions, just ask us. Like I said, we're not going to do this forever. But we got about 15 minutes to kill here, so I guess we can do some topics that we haven't really covered yet as far as what we wanted to cover. But we talked about all the throttle hanging and fights. And
one thing real quick on the crashes, this just came to my mind, and I remember it's like probably one of my first memories of Hickory Motor Speedway besides watching Dad. But like as far as a local show.
Pelfrey.
Yeah. So like probably the first memory I have is I remember the movie Driven. Do you remember that movie?
Sylvester Stallone movie?
Yeah. So there was like a huge crash, like a catastrophic wreck in that movie.
Like a nuclear bomb goes off.
Cars are just flying through the air and stuff. And so I watched that movie before we went to Hickory. And I remember sitting with Dad in the stands, and I remember asking him, Dad, do you think there's going to be a Driven wreck? And he's like, no, son, that's fake. That's theater. and the damn crossover gate come loose, and Pelfrey hit it.
You know why? You know what happened that race?
Didn't somebody bounce off the wall?
You know who done that?
Wasn't Mark Setzer?
My dad.
Was it your dad?
It was he hit the gate
And knocked
the
it
gate
open?
fell.
I drove that car the week before that. The blue 55.
Whose was it?
Gary Lambert.
Okay.
Yeah.
And not
Oh,
to step
yeah,
over any
Lambert.
lines
I
here,
forgot
but
it was
I do
Lambert's car.
believe that the track had to pay for that, right?
I don't know.
I was told by a friend that's like in that crowd said that basically, and maybe it's wrong, but I heard that the track pretty much paid for the damage there.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dad and Mark Setzer were racing together, and one of them
Just brushed the fence?
Dad that hit the
Crossover.
And the-
Because
and
back
the-
then it
so
was a concrete
basically-
gate that opened.
Yeah, basically under the start finish line at Hickory, there's a ladder gate thing, or back then it might have just been a flap opening deal.
Back then it was it was part of the concrete wall.
Yeah, so
But it
basically
was a hatch, and it
the
just
wall opened up for spectators and spotters and stuff to cross at the start finish line for after the race, before the race, all that. Well, Dexter Senior evidently hit it, racing, and then the damn thing just flew open. Well, then
hit
Pelfrey
his right front.
and just sent him into the tires and flipping all sorts of crap. I don't even know exactly what happened.
I just
but-
remember there was no sheet metal left on the car, and they had to cover it up, everything like somebody died.
Yeah.
And Pelfrey got hurt. I'm pretty sure. I don't know.
Yeah,
if they
he
hurt
was,
him
I
real
think he was
bad.
out for a while, maybe. But
Yeah, that
I
was
have to have
crazy.
Jeremy on here to talk about that one week. That would be cool to hear his insights on that.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun. It
And
was
get
funny
some-
because I remember looking at Dad after, and I was just like, oh my god. He's
He
like,
probably didn't think it was very good either.
He's like, that doesn't happen every week, Landon.
Yeah.
So there you go. Jared asked you a question.
Yeah, well, we'll start at the bottom here, but Lenny Chandler, the guy I was just speaking of the dirt track race, he said the water truck driver was the best driver in Savannah that night of the Savannah Dash dirt race. That doesn't surprise me. But anyway, Chris Marshall said, Dylan, I wanted to recommend a race if I could. Have you seen the 1983 ASA Milwaukee 200? I have not.
No,
I have not watched many ASA races, but that's literally because there's so many late model stock races and stuff to watch around. I even started watching some 07 UARA races the other night. And but no, I haven't got into ASA yet, but I did find a playlist of a bunch of ASA races, so I'll probably get into it soon, but that's definitely one I'll check out. What did Jared ask there, Landon?
Jarrett says, for all of you on screen and even the racers in the comments, 3 laps to go, who's the one driver you do not want to see in your mirror and why?
First off, is this like today or like
is this
all
any
time?
driver?
I'm saying Max Presswood Jr.
Really? He was not scared to give you the blade.
The blade.
I'm not. I don't know.
I feel like my dad would wreck me for the win, not even kidding. If it come down to it. Maybe not. I don't know. It just depends. If I talked a lot of shit beforehand, yeah, he'd wreck me for sure.
Who do I not want to see my frig? I don't know.
Your dad's one of them old school drivers. He'd wreck you for the win. I don't
Yeah.
care if it's for $50. It's for a race win.
Yeah.
I'm probably about the same way. I mean, I guess that's kind of the boring answer. My dad or grandpa, 'cause they'd probably move me out of the damn way.
I got one. Dale freaking Earnhardt.
Well, obviously that. I mean, that's probably the simplest one. But I'm talking like a gritty short track racer guy.
Greg Marlowe comes to mind too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know of anybody that I've raced
I think
against in my
intimidation
time.
wise, like I've always thought like, just someone that would like intimidate me a little bit and kind of be prone to a mistake to someone like Dick Trickle, even though he's not like a dirty guy. I'd be like, oh shit, he's fast, or a Gary Ballou, or anybody like that.
Nowadays, I mean, honestly, the only person I could think of that if they were behind me, pressured me, that I would be like, yeah, you know what, he'll move me. I really, and know that he's good enough to move me and beat me is Lee Pulliam. I mean, I feel like he doesn't give a crap. I mean, he wrecked me for 7th at Hickory
watching
one
you
time,
and him race. Y'all raced the hell out of each other for
like 8th place, and
Yeah.
then I got knocked across the infield.
He was going for national championship.
Yeah, but like that 7th was going to be a throwaway race. That's a different conversation. but still, yeah, Pulliam. I mean, I've raced against him a good number of times, and
absolutely.
I raced against him at South
Bobby
Boston up front and everything, and he would be one. Bobby Gill is another one. Yeah,
Yes.
Big Bob. Another story real quick while we're talking about short track stuff, and I'll try to make it quick, but one time, speaking of Shane Lee, Mike Lee, Shane's dad, obviously you guys know, but if you're watching and you're not familiar with who Mike is, he's Shane's Lee's father, who Shane is an Xfinity driver now for RCR. Mike raced late models against my dad, and probably Dexter Sr. was running around that time too. But my dad, one week, some guys were cheating, and Mike was talking to my dad on the off weekend about how they were doing it, and Dad told him exactly what to do and how to cheat. Well, when they came back the next week, Mike was cheating, and Dad said it was like really, really obvious. Well, Mike he won and beat him by like half a track. So Dad protested him and got thrown out. Yeah, and Shane's mom threw the trophy at Dad. But
damn.
Yeah. So I thought that was hilarious. Like, here Dad is telling the guy how to cheat. He cheats, comes back, and then gets protested.
That was because your dad and my dad raced for your grandfather.
Yeah.
Your dad did the limited sportsman. It used to be called limited sportsman. That's when that was.
Okay.
And my dad run the
late
model.
Okay.
For your grandfather.
God, that was probably what, 85, 6, 7, somewhere in there.
4, 5.
84.
Chris asked, when is your next race? I guess you're asking all of us, but mine's actually this weekend. I'm running at Hickory in the limited late models again. We're right now we're racing for points. So finished second last time, finished dead last. Had to DNF on about lap 5 the first week. Y'all know that story. So we're clawing our way back up there. We got some speed, so hopefully we can put it all together. I'm not a guy that says we're due a win, but we're working our ass off. Yeah, we're working our ass off, and we're not gonna lose from a lack of effort. So we're gonna try to win and go to Destin with a reason to celebrate. So hopefully that's the main goal. But yeah, we're racing at Hickory this weekend, Saturday. If anybody wants to come, it starts at 7 o'clock. I don't know what race we are, but we are the limited late model, so somewhere in there, usually about the third race. What about you, Dexter? You said maybe car stores next for you? May 5th. And any plans as of now? Car store at Hickory?
My initial plan was to run the car store, but as of now, the racing bank account is hurting a little bit. Tri-County did not go as planned.
Did good, though.
So, so I'd like to run the car store at Hickory. So if anybody's watching, they want to help out, that'd be awesome.
Me too.
Yeah, both of us. We do like a co-branded deal. But if I don't make that one, I'll probably go run like a one-off deal at Hickory, and then my goal is to try to be an ARCA car at Charlotte. So that's what we're working on right now, because I've got to do that for the approval scenario.
If the free credit approval process really works.
Yeah. So I can run ARCA, and then I'll be approved to go elsewhere in a truck. So that's the plan as of now. Like I said, if I don't make May 5th, then I'll try to run a one-off deal because it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah, so
Chris said he did watch the Thrills and Spills 97, which I told him to watch the other week.
My wife said, hang on, my wife says we're camping, not racing.
You're camping?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's a bummer.
You want to drive my car?
Yeah, I'll drive.
Oh, no. Well,
that worked out perfect.
Yeah.
Camping on May. So May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, you're camping.
Oh, no. May 5th, I'm racing.
Oh.
Yeah. She's just, good luck with that.
I thought she said you're camping.
Well, I thought she meant this weekend, maybe.
Oh, man. Controversy.
Oh, no. Here we go. Windshield Deep, the center of controversy in short track racing. No, that would be
personal life.
Yeah, that would be that'd be good stuff. Either way, Cinco de Mayo, I believe I'm not racing. Mainly because I get back on May the 4th to be with you from Destin, and that's so fun to say. May the 4th, I'll be back.
We're going to watch
Destin?
Star Wars?
When does that come out?
May the 4th, I'm pretty sure.
Does it? I don't know if I'll be home in time. I'll probably watch it on bootleg.
I don't know. Maybe not. No, we got to go to the theaters for that.
Oh, man,
One's gonna be.
I'm nervous about that movie. This movie better make up for the. I don't even want to talk about the last one. That was the worst Star Wars movie of all time. If you think otherwise,
you're not
wrong.
a Star Wars fan.
You're damn wrong.
Me and Dylan were pissed.
That's terrible. That's the worst shit I've ever seen. I'd rather watch Teletubbies.
I
like Star Wars.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But the last one, I hated it.
It's terrible.
But
see there? Look. Oh, no, camping. See?
Look
at
no.
Uh-oh.
I will replace him if need be.
Well, I know. Well, if y'all are both racing on May the 5th, I will be fresh home from Florida, and I will probably have a good sunburn, and I'll probably be celebrating
Dylan does not tan; he burns.
Cinco de Mayo. Yeah, this is from like 34 minutes today, walking outside picking up trash. I mean,
there wasn't no sun out today, was it? It rained all day.
That's windburn.
Yeah, that's probably when. I don't know. I'm a redneck, literally. Like my neck stays red. So, yeah, that'll be fun. Cinco de Mayo. I'll probably go to a Mexican restaurant and enjoy some cold beverages before the race. And if you need a spotter, let me know. I'll really clear you early. but anyway, any more questions going on? May 25th-ish. What does that mean?
Oh, that
any good games you're playing?
Racing games.
Racing games.
Oh, any good racing games you're playing?
Once I get my kids is hogged up by PlayStation 4, but once I get them kicked off of my PlayStation 4, I like to play that NASCAR Heat. Look at him over shaking his head.
Yeah.
They play Fortnite like nonstop.
God, I hate Fortnite. He likes it, but I can't stand it. I'm terrible at it
either.
I'd rather play Call of Duty.
I wouldn't like it if I sucked too.
I hate it.
I hate it. I'm just not good at that. I don't know. I can't. The first time I played it, I was on a team with Dylan and them, and they were like doing all this sophisticated crap, and I couldn't even figure out how to get up a hill.
We finished second too. God dang! Like it was the first game we really all even played.
Oh no, that one I walked to the top and I got shot off the top just because I was standing there looking.
Yeah, and we finished second. Yeah. And like I was sitting there with nothing but like a pistol, and we was playing against guys with like 4 gold scars.
My ass just ran to the top.
But racing games, the last thing that I played, I guess, is NASCAR 2003, which we tried to set up earlier, but my freaking pedal cord got kinked up. I'm gonna blame it on Landon because he's up there playing with it last. But yeah, something wrong with the cord. So, but yeah, NASCAR 2003 with the Dash Series and late model V2 mod, as well as iRacing. I also got this new game called Beam NG, which is like a physics simulator. It's not really a racing game, but it's like good graphics.
Beam?
It's called Beam. It's PC only.
So is it racing?
You can online, but it's like the physics model. So basically, it's all about wrecking because like it's like 100% accurate as to like how you hit the wall. Like it's, I'll just have to show you. It's
yeah,
crazy.
I'll have to check that out,
dude. It's really cool. It's just cooler. If they had those wreck physics on like iRacing, it'd be awesome.
I played Heat for a little while on my Xbox One, but I got tired of it because I felt like the career mode was cool and everything, but I just felt like the NASCAR games they come out with for console from
the physics
2011 to 2013-ish were way better. Like I actually felt like I was going fast on those games, and I liked how the cars drove.
It's too arcadey now.
Yeah, it feels like more of an arcade game. But I mean, I guess still like the career mode and the depth of the career mode is pretty fun on Heat Evolution or Heat 2 or whatever it is.
Dylan Hauser said, shit, I missed hot laps. It's all good. We didn't do hot laps this week. That's not going to be a every week thing because we're going to run out of damn racetracks before long. But
yeah, we're going to do hot laps. Like we're going to do that segment
when there's a big race coming up at a certain track.
By God,
like the next time they have a race, which God dang, there is a race at Tri-County this Saturday.
The White House Apple Juice Dash car is going to make an appearance.
We're going to do old school racing remakes.
The old Pabst Blue Ribbon 4 might have to make a
Old Milwaukee
4. Pabst Blue Ribbon was a 44.
Yeah, that was Doc Brewer. But yeah, we might have to get Dexter Jr. here in the Ecomont number 5 testing at Tri-County and just show us the line.
Yeah, just tell us
we ever have to run
how to get around there.
So Dexter Senior or Junior will be on hot laps soon, I'm sure.
I'm not wearing those crazy suit.
Well, you have to. You
got part of it, man.
Especially when we had
bring the old Ecomont suit.
Excuse my language. We had firm nut huggers on. They were tight.
I almost busted out of them.
I don't know how you made it in the car like you did that one time. He said Star Wars comes out May 25th, not May the 5th. That's what Jarrett was talking about. Chris said NASCAR Heat is fun. I keep getting wrecked by nerds, or you call them rookies. Yeah, that's kind of the story of online NASCAR Heat racing. They just turn backwards and wreck you, or wreck you on purpose. So that kind of sucks. But dude, the best thing you can do is if you don't have iRacing and don't want to buy a rig, then look for a league Like there's leagues for NASCAR heat racing, and that's probably the best thing for you.
That's what got me into sim racing.
They'll race you
long
clean.
Time ago on like NASCAR 2009. It was before they came out with like the 11, 12 game, whatever. It was the last EA Sports game they made. Yeah. And there was a lot of like fun leagues on there.
With Stewart on the cover, right?
Yeah, that was the first one that I started playing.
Yeah.
No, Gordon was on the cover. I'm pretty sure.
09? No, Stewart was 08.
Yeah, Gordon.
Sadler was 07.
Yeah. Sadler.
He was. Remember that in the M&M suit?
I know, that's crazy.
There you go. There's Jeremy Pelfrey.
Jeremy Pelfrey.
The
we
man,
was just
the myth,
talking
the
about
legend.
your horrific crash a few years ago.
You're gonna have to come on here and give us a.
Yeah, we need you on here.
That was about like 13 years ago.
I bet he could give us a.
No, I bet that thing was about 16 years ago.
We could get some inside pictures.
Yeah, it had to have been longer than that because I was like,
I think it was 02.
01 was when that Driven movie came out. So
02 or 03.
But I have heard of some. Speaking of Jeremy, there's a few people racing late models this weekend. Monty Cox is racing late models this weekend again. Jeremy, I assume. Pretty sure someone else is that I was told that's showing up this weekend. Can't remember who. But hopefully, I'm sure they'll have another good limited crowd. They've been having a solid limited crowd every week, which is cool.
If I don't make the car store race, I'm just going to go to Hickory when nobody's there.
Yeah.
That way I have
That's
a
what
shot
I thought
winning.
last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you went and there was a bunch of people there.
Chris Van Dyke.
Yeah. Everybody had the same idea.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. But we didn't cover we'll wait for a couple questions real quick, but we didn't cover Josh's performance in the ARCA race.
Yeah, when did he finish?
4th.
Did he?
He ran up front, though. He ran second for a while.
Yeah, he lit tight all day. Yeah. He lit tight all day long. He couldn't, he really couldn't. He just kept getting passed on the bottom, I should say. Nobody else was getting passed so quickly on the bottom. And he really got passed. Did you see the damn last lap?
Yeah, the 20 car blew right front going into 1.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, he blew right front. You could see when they showed it from the other angle.
Okay. Basically, I just kind of seen it at first, like, what the hell?
You didn't watch it, did you, Dexter?
No.
Okay,
I thought he blew the corner.
Chandler Smith's 15. He's racing for Venturini. He sat on the pole at Nashville, finished like 3rd or 4th.
Oh, that was a Venturini car too?
Yeah, and then sat on the pole again at Salem, and he led a lot, and then at the end, Ecky's got the lead, and Chandler ran him down and like was working him for like 20 laps, never got into him, which he did a really, really good job. Never touched him. They might have got into it just a little bit, and then on like coming to the white, he had a run on him, and they went into 1, and when they did, he blew it right front and pow, and knocked the fence down. And
yeah, hit hard.
Ecky's won easy, yeah. And then Josh finished 4th. I'm trying to think of other like notables. Colby Howard made his debut.
He started 8th. Where did he finish?
It was probably around there. I never seen much on him.
Didn't he have like 20 cars? 20, 21?
Yeah. I will say, like, a lot of the field fillers weren't there, like the crap cars. I know, not saying that, well, I ain't even going to say that. But, yeah, a lot of the cars that, like, are sheet metal bodies, stuff like that, they didn't show up.
No.
But the racing wasn't bad. I thought the race was actually pretty good, especially for ARCA race, which the spring Salem race is usually that way because you still have a lot of the people that haven't tore their stuff up or – you know, a lot of the larger teams take more than one car to that race, where you go back in the fall and it's not the same, or summer. You know, there's only like 10 good cars there.
Terry said, Dylan, they need to bring back match races to Hickory with some of the legends that raced there years ago. Yeah, we talked about that a few weeks ago.
Back, yeah.
And talked about match racing, which I never got to witness personally. Did you ever get to see much match racing in the Southeast? Or was that more of a Northeastern thing?
Thinking like they done it with Setzer, Houston.
Yeah, imagine that. Going and watching a
90s.
Freaking match race with Dennis Setzer.
It was the only thing I can. That was the only thing I could think of. It was a Legends race, and they did Andy Houston, Marty, my dad, Dennis. Did your dad run it? There was a couple other people that were running that had ran trucks or whatever. Yeah. But that was the only thing that I could think of, and. They just a couple of teams brought in legend cars and let them race it. But match racing, I remember when I was racing go-karts, there was a deal called NASCAR Kids. And a lot of the Dash people had kids that ran in it, like Scott Weaver's kid, Bradley. I ran in it. Annabeth Barnes ran in it. There was a couple other people from the Dash series, actually, that ran. But they did one deal at Riverside where all the Dash drivers came in and ran go-karts. And my dad used to always tell me, oh, don't get up in that loose shit and hit the tires. You hit the tires every time you get into the loose stuff. You're driving straight into it. And I was like 5 or 6 years old. He kept telling me that. So I'm watching him, and I'm watching in practice. And he comes off the corner wide open, gets sideways, gets up in the loose crap, hits the tire barrier, and flips head over tail in that thing. Threw him out of the go-kart.
Damn.
I stopped, and I'm sitting at the flag stand, 6 years old, and all I see is the go-kart roll by. Dad has this nasty Charlie horse on his leg. He's like, here I am telling you not to do that, and I do the same thing. Bloody leg. They ended up running the race, but that was a match race too. Tore that boy's go-kart all to hell. Yeah, he had to fix it for him. Kid loaned his go-kart to him to run the race, and Dad destroyed it.
Yeah, we've got to cover a lot of good stuff today. We don't want to ramble on forever. Dexter's got to get his boy home. Mr. Trey's been our producer tonight, so.
Yeah, RJ didn't show, so Trey filled in for him.
Trey, you want a full-time gig here?
He's like, nah. This.
I'm old enough to race against you unlimited. You the damn competition. Get the hell out of here.
You cutting into his Fortnite time.
Yeah, this is Fortnite. No, we gotta get out of here then. This is Fortnite time. We have cut into it. we're not gonna have a golly. Well, we was gonna show you the future, the next guy to in line to get
he's camera
few
shy.
hundred wins. But
you'll see him for long.
Yeah, you'll see him for long. He's too shy right now, but we've had a lot of fun tonight. You can tell we're in the race shop because my dad's literally over here on the scales right now, working on the race car. So we are literally full scale short track racing right now. But we've covered a lot of stuff today. We did it a little quicker than usual. But it's kind of what we plan on doing. We're trying not to go past 10 o'clock too much from now on. But if Landon would get here a little earlier, we might be able to start earlier.
What he doesn't understand is, Tuesdays are about the only day I can do this, and I have school, which puts me in a bind, and I also have to get up at 4:30 tomorrow to go to work.
In your entire life, throughout the week, you only have 2 hours to spare.
But it takes 2 hours to get here, don't it?
It takes me 35 minutes to get here.
Okay, 4 hours.
I mean, once school is finished, then we can do whatever.
I mean, you ain't got to go to school
right now, so.
We'll check and see what everybody thinks. But yeah, I understand. It's obviously not the easiest thing to drive back and forth. But
the one luxury you have is your business works out of our studio. So
yeah, it's nice. But it does suck having to set everything up and change it because I take this computer back upstairs and play Fortnite on it.
Dylan does do everything himself as far as technology goes. So.
Well, I'm learning. I'm still not very smart at it, but we're getting there. But anyway, we've covered a lot of stuff tonight. Hopefully next time we see you, which is not going to be next Tuesday at 8:30, we're not going to be here or live or anything. We don't know yet. I'm going to be out of town, like I said.
When are you leaving?
I'm leaving Sunday.
Okay, maybe we can do something between
what
now
I plan on is winning Saturday night, staying up all night drinking, and Sunday morning sleep all the way.
Well, I race Saturday night, so, I mean, I don't know. Well,
I'm just kidding. Actually, I'll probably, even if usually I'm so tired after a race, I just come home and go to sleep anyway. But, yeah, we plan on running, plan on having a good time either way, but.
We got videos.
Yeah, we'll video it. We're gonna figure something out. We don't want to leave you empty-handed next week. I might FaceTime Landon off the Florida Keys or whatever it's called.
Don't FaceTime me because I don't want to see that.
I'm gonna FaceTime y'all and I'm gonna screen grab it and then we're just gonna upload it and that's gonna be our podcast. Something like that.
Thank you guys for tuning in. The 16 of you have made it this far, and we're growing every week. I mean, we consistently had a good amount of viewers in here, which is good. So. If you enjoy what you're watching, help us share it. And, the more shares we get on Facebook, the more people that see it, the faster it is for us to grow and the more cool things we can do. And the more we can talk about short track racing. So
absolutely. And we're getting more and more content every week. The season's heating up. Like I said, every freaking track in the country seems like it's racing this weekend. So we're going to have a ton of stuff jumbled up to talk about 2 weeks from today. So we'll have fun. I'm sure we'll have another guest on. I'm sure we'll have Dexter on again sometime in the future. We'll have more and more to talk about. So maybe we need to go win a few races, and we'll have more to talk about this year.
Sounds like a plan.
But anyway, This is Dylan Wilson with Dexter Canipe Jr. and Landon Huffman. We got to thank all of our sponsors: Fox Outdoor, Carolina Simworks, Heavenly Sweets, Blondie's Restaurant, One Design Wraps, and PRW Chassis. Couldn't do it without them. This is the voice of grassroots racing. We will see you guys in a couple weeks, maybe next week, don't know yet. Y'all have a good one.
Peace.